Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to our Monday episode. Look who has decided to show up for our episode today. I wonder if I were to ask this gentleman why he felt it necessary to drive his wheelchair into me, to grab personal property away from me and crumple it up, if he would answer. Today the sun is shining. People are preparing food, eating food, going for walks, getting the sun, avoiding the sun, you name it. And what a surprise it was to see Gandalf the Grey over there, stopping to buy, I think it was a sandwich at the food truck. He is now over there lurking. Hopefully he will return and he will decide to make another appearance in our series today. But as you know, the focus of our series is not men in wheelchairs who ram into people and grab personal property away from them. The subject of our series are standing right over here. And you'll observe they are already trying to bend over backwards to project what a wonderful, happy conversation they are having. I have had the privilege of chronicling the behavior of this particular cult member on a few occasions. This cult member and I had an exchange on Granville Street. This cult member and I had an exchange at the Burrard SkyTrain station. And you'll recall really his not knowing what to say or what to do, especially when the sister said, I don't talk. I just do what the brother tells me to do. I wonder if I were to ask this female cult member if she is allowed to talk in this brother's presence, if she would say, yes, I am. Or if, like her fellow cult member, she would say, no, I just do what the brother tells me to do. I wonder if this cult member thinks I'm making that up. I wonder if these cult members think I'm making this up. As you know, viewers, the 2017 Convention Guidelines and the 2017 Circuit Overseer Guidelines have been leaked online. I obviously haven't printed out the entire 130 pages of the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. That's just a little too cumbersome to walk around with. So I have printed off just a few of my favorite parts of the 2017 Circuit Overseer Guidelines to read to you today. A couple of items of note from the table of contents of the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Chapter 8, Emergency Time Off. Chapter 10, Field Ministry, paragraphs 1 to 9. Chapter 11, HLC, only one page dedicated to the HLC. Chapter 17, Appointment and Deletion of Elders and Ministerial Servants. Chapter 17, Appointment and Deletions of Elders and Ministerial Servants. A couple of the subheadings in that chapter. Those with a record of past misconduct. Paragraphs 12 to 14. Appointments or deletions recommended by the branch office. Paragraph 22. Special full-time servants who experience difficulties. Paragraph 31. Resignation deletions for judicial reasons and deaths. Paragraph 34. Chapter 19. Shepherding. Paragraphs 1 to 7. And really, viewers, the portion from which we are going to read today, Appendix D. 2 pages from Appendix D, checklist. I wonder if this cult member's ears are pricking up right now, because I'm going to be reading to you from Appendix D, which discusses checklist when considering appointments and deletions. No doubt this cult member was considered before his appointment. He will now get to hear exactly what was considered prior to that appointment. Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions. I wonder if these cult members think I'm not actually reading the official Watchtower Bible and Tract Society released 130-page packet of Circuit Overseer Guidelines right now, when you do know, in fact, that I am. Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Before making appointments of elders and ministerial servants, please consider the following, keeping in mind that each brother must measure up to a reasonable degree. Shepherding Textbook, Chapter 10, Paragraphs 3, Chapter 3, Paragraphs 1 to 2. Now, as you know, viewers, each of these points are phrased as questions. See? So you have your subheadings, and then you have your bulleted points that are expressed in the form of questions. So I will read to you in the way that it was intended to be read. Checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Experience and maturity. Sufficient age, life experience, and respect of congregation. I wonder if this cult member had the sufficient level of respect prior to his appointment as an elder. I wonder if this cult member would like to know what the discussion was regarding his level of respect, life experience, and age prior to his being appointed as a mature cult member. Baptized at least 1 year? If baptized many years ago, why only now being recommended? If baptized many years ago, why only now being recommended? I wonder if this cult member was appointed soon after his baptism, or if it was many years after that he was being recommended, and he had to give an explanation for that. Hi, brother. Well, we noticed that you were baptized quite a while ago. You're a fine example to the flock. You certainly know how to ignore the apostates. You certainly know how to stand firm and remain mute when politely asked to leave a public place. So we do appreciate your resolve and dedication to pure worship, but I see from our notes, I see from our reports, I see from our material that you're never going to be allowed to see that you were baptized quite some time ago. I'm just curious, why do you think you're being recommended to serve as an appointed cult member? I wonder what that cult member would have said. Experience and maturity. Family. Wife and any children living at home, good examples. Are the wife and any children living at home good examples? Well, you know, cult members or viewers, when you attend meetings of Jehovah's Witnesses, all you really have to worry about is proving what a good example you are while you are engaging in your pure worship of God. Really, nobody knows just what goes on behind closed doors of the homes of these cult members. One thing we do know is that they are not watching YouTube. No, these cult members are not watching YouTube in the interest of examining themselves. They examine themselves just fine, thank you very much, when they go to their echo chambers and regurgitate watchtower propaganda. Family. Regular family worship. Scriptural marriage. If separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? What are the circumstances of the divorce or separation? Okay, if we're going to appoint this cult member to the station of appointed cult member, and he's separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? See Shepherding Textbook, Chapter 10, Chapter 3, Paragraph 9. I wonder if I were to start reading to this female cult member from the Shepherding Textbook, if this male cult member would then say, "Sister, I think we should. What do you say we go for a Starbucks? What do you say we just go for a walk over here?" Because viewers, as you know, the Shepherding Textbook, commonly referred to as the Shepherd the Flock of God manual, has also been leaked online. Observe these cult members projecting what a happy, wonderful time they are having being God's only true servants this morning, viewers. See, if you are not in this cult, you will not have the joy and the happiness and the comfort and the love in your life that comes with being a member of this cult. So they're trying to draw you. They really are trying to draw you into their cult so that your life can be equally fulfilling. But you're really just not choosing to respond, perhaps because Satan's blinding power is just too powerful in your life. Checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Family. Wife and any children living at home, good examples. Regular family worship. Scriptural marriage. If separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? Again, viewers, every single one of these bulleted points has a question mark after it. So the circuit overseer is being encouraged to go investigate. The circuit overseer is being encouraged to go make sure of the more important things. For instance, whether or not someone being considered for an appointment or deletion who is separated or divorced for acceptable circumstances. And when I say acceptable circumstances, I mean acceptable to the Creator of heaven and earth, viewers. Because as you know, these are the only people properly rendering approved worship of the Creator of heaven and earth in the last days. So when the circuit overseer needs to investigate the material from this form, he's doing it on behalf of God, viewers. Field service activity. Meaningful, zealous share? What is a meaningful, zealous share in the ministry nowadays, viewers? Are these cult members having a meaningful, zealous share in the ministry? When you and I were in this cult, a meaningful, zealous share in the ministry involved a lot more than this. Yeah. Standing behind a cart, anticipating the arrival of someone that you could tell to please not invade your personal space so you could call the police. Or, of course, control the conversation with someone or be flattered by the conversation from somebody else. Meaningful, zealous share. I wonder what the circuit overseer. It's a good thing these cult members only have to last for 15 minutes because it is hard work to project how superior you are to everybody else walking by for 15 minutes. But they get to change it up and do it once again. Now, just for this cult member's education, she should know that I'm reading to you, viewers, from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Yes, I'm reading to you, viewers, from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines, Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions. We are now to the subheading Field Service Activity. Meaningful, zealous share? Restricted share because of other spiritual obligations or theocratic projects? Notice how the cult members are kept quite busy with various theocratic projects in this day and age. Hospital liaison committees, building committees, convention committees, other special committees. So really, are the cult members too involved in one of their other special projects to have a meaningful share in the ministry? Really, that's for the circuit overseer to determine, isn't it? Once the circuit overseer gets through 130 pages of his guidelines, this will be just one of the things that he will give his attention to when he visits his fellow cult members, one congregation week after week. Tested as to fitness. Shows himself to be a spiritual man? Wow. You guys remember how hard we used to work to prove ourselves as having been tested as a spiritual man or woman? And then whose job at the end of the day was it to tell us whether or not we had qualified as a tested spiritual man or woman? Well, it was cult members just like this one. Imagine having to sit in a meeting with this cult member to hear his opinion, to hear his scripturally based opinion as to whether or not you now qualified as a tested spiritual man or woman. Wow. To all the current cult members who are subjecting themselves to this cult member's assessment of whether or not they are tested as spiritual men or women, you have my sympathy. I wonder if this cult member has assessed the level of spiritual maturity of fellow cult members in recent weeks. I wonder what he's told them. Hi, brother. So the circuit overseer is coming. You know that I've really been reaching out in the ministry. You know that I've been trying to comment more and come to the meetings earlier than usual and stay a little bit later. I've tried to actually impress you. You've noticed that I've tried to impress you, right? So when the circuit overseer visits, are you going to put in a good word for me? Because, I really do look forward to being able to carry out greater privileges of service. Yeah. It's not about ascending in a cult. It's not about being able to throw your weight around. It's not about being able to get your hands on circuit overseer and elder textbooks. It's about carrying out greater privileges of service. Watchtower certainly does know what they are doing, viewers. These cult members are not doing anything other than reaching out for privileges of service. One privilege of service that these cult members look forward to is going to be cleaning up is going to be cleaning up after all of this has been reduced to rubble by the God they serve. That, no doubt, is one privilege of service that these cult members are really looking forward to. I remember one time I was out in service, viewers, and one longtime pioneer was talking about, oh no, I've been pioneering for about 10 or 15 years. I'm going to have that beachfront property. Woo! No. Jehovah's got a beachfront property for me. I know it. Actually, she's been featured in one of these episodes. I won't tell you who, but I'm sure you've all heard similar conversations when you were a full-time minister of the good news of God's kingdom. The sense of entitlement that would come with being a full-time minister for 10, 15, 20 years. Really, the sense of entitlement of these cult members, you really do see it overtake them within a couple of months. I know in my case, it overtook me within a couple of months because I had been going to meetings, I'd been studying, I'd been thinking about sacrifices I was going to have to make and sacrifices I had made. So the sense of entitlement to life in paradise, once everybody else that wouldn't listen to me was killed, started to get the better of me really early. And I do regret that. I do regret that I let the brainwashing mind control of Watchtower get the better of me in that way. Hopefully one day these cult members will go to YouTube and be honest about their research and see for themselves that yes, they are indeed cult members. Checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Viewpoint of elders. Is recommendation unanimous? Once again, viewers, it is the circuit overseer's responsibility when visiting a congregation to decide whether or not someone should be deleted or appointed, whether or not that appointment or deletion will have the unanimous approval of the elders. See, the meeting that the circuit overseer has with the elders is going to be good enough. The circuit overseer, as you know, will not talk to anyone else in the congregation regarding whether or not that special brother or that special sister is in good standing. He will only talk to his fellow appointed cult members because, quote, they have been tested as to fitness. This cult member has been tested as to fitness. So if there is a fellow cult member in his congregation who the brothers are considering needs to be deleted or appointed, he and his fellow appointed cult members will be the only ones that the circuit overseer talks to. Tested as to fitness. Past difficulties. Past difficulties. I saw Gandalf. There goes Gandalf. Gandalf realizes that what I'm doing is A, none of his business, B, not a violation of anyone's rights, and that his ramming into me and his grabbing personal property from me and crumpling it up certainly was a violation of people's rights. The chatter of these cult members picked up while I was distracted for a moment. Viewpoints of elders. Past difficulties, viewers. Past difficulties. I wonder if this cult member has had past difficulties. Past difficulties. Reproved within the past 3 years or reinstated within the past 5 years. Did you hear that, viewers? Past difficulties. Reproved within the past 3 years or reinstated within the past 5 years. I wonder if this cult member knew that when he was being considered for special appointment. I wonder if this cult member knew at the time whether or not his past difficulties needed to have happened at least 3 years prior, or in the case of a reinstatement, 5 years prior, before he was proved to have been tested as to fitness to serve in his capacity as an appointed cult member. I wonder if this cult member is really curious about what is in these guidelines, and he is going to go to YouTube later to read it, to hear it. Of course, as you know, viewers, when material comes out of the mouth of a filthy apostate, it's filthy apostasy. But when it comes out of the mouth of a fellow cult member, it is spiritual direction from Jehovah. Past difficulties. Notoriety of past wrongdoing subsided. Has the notoriety of the past wrongdoing subsided? Wow. Who says Jehovah's Witnesses don't snitch on conversations other Jehovah's Witnesses have. How on earth are the elders able to tell the circuit overseer whether or not notoriety of a past wrongdoing has subsided unless they snitch? How do you confirm, viewers, whether or not the notoriety of a past wrongdoing has subsided unless you're talking about the conversations other people are having? Well, I say that has been happening in Watchtower for a long time, and I say that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses give as fairly as we've gotten, and we present and talk about discussions Jehovah's Witnesses are having among themselves, and notice how we are not allowed to enter Kingdom Halls to hear those conversations. As an ex-member, as an apostate, you apparently will not even be granted access to a Kingdom Hall to determine for yourself whether or not a quote-unquote past wrongdoing has been subsided, the notoriety of it has subsided. The cult members will do that for you. You don't have to worry about whether or not the notoriety of one of your past wrongdoings has subsided. The cult members will determine that for you, especially when a circuit overseer is visiting. Definite improvement in area of previous weakness? Question mark. I wonder if this cult member had to show an improvement in an area of weakness once before. I wonder what area of weakness this cult member had to handle and overcome before he could qualify to serve in his capacity as an appointed cult member. I wonder. Look at this cult member, viewers. He's talking today. He had nothing to say to me. Oh, actually, viewers, you'll remember when I was talking to Norbert, and I tried talking to his wife, Sandy Schmerl, after she was filming me from across the street and then putting her device away instead of talking about what I was holding. This cult member came in to rotate, and I had a question for him, and you'll remember what he said. I wonder if I were to ask this cult member if he remembers what he said. Hey, remember I tried talking to you once? Remember what you said? Do you remember I tried talking to you on Granville Street and what you said? Observe the cult member not want to answer that question. I promise you, viewers, we will find cult members willing to answer our questions. These cult members have heard of me, so really trying to engage them in conversation is not going to go too well. So that is why we are just reading to one another from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. We were on the topic of past difficulties. Notoriety of past wrongdoing subsided. Definite improvement in area of previous weakness. Page 2. Page 2 of checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Yes, this female cult member is working hard right now, viewers, to block out what I'm reading because she definitely knows. She definitely knows this material is not for her. I wonder if this cult member is going to tell herself that she was staying present while material from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines was being read that, that wasn't a transgression. That wasn't a grieving of the Holy Spirit. I was staying, listening to the reading of Circuit Overseer Guidelines to fortify my fellow cult member. Whereas you have seen some other female cult members kind of walk away when they realize that they're hearing material not intended for them. Well, it is intended for you, viewers, so we'll continue. Checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Viewed pornography. See Index to Letters of Bodies of Elders, S22. Accusation of child abuse. How about conviction? How about prosecution and conviction of child abuse? Notice how that is not on here. Really, the only thing that affects Jehovah's Witnesses are accusations of child abuse. Actual child abuse does not occur. Only, and you see it right here, viewers, accusations of it. So the Candace Conti, Stephanie Fessler, Gordon Campos, and the class action civil lawsuit, and Romy's story on A&E, and the other stories that are coming out, really those are just fabrications, misrepresentations, because the only thing that ever really gets anywhere near Jehovah's Witnesses when it comes to child abuse are accusations of it. Before making appointments of elders, please also consider the following. I'm now going to read to you, viewers, and in front of this female cult member regarding the appointment of elders. Shepherding. Received training by elders. I wonder if this cult member has fond memories of the elder who trained him in the shepherding work. I wonder if this cult member remembers his very first shepherding visit and he said, "Wow, now Jehovah is really using me. Wow, thank you, Jehovah, for giving me the privilege of service of shepherding the flock." I wonder if this cult member thinks he's shepherding the flock today. I wonder if this cult member thinks that he's going to be shepherding the flock when he attends the Be Courageous 2018 convention in a couple of weeks. Shepherding. Received training by elders. Teaching. Able to teach from platform or one-on-one. Is this cult member able to teach one-on-one? I don't think the term, I don't think the expression, I don't think the sentence, "I have nothing to say to you," qualifies this cult member as one who is able to teach one-on-one. But again, you and I are not the ones having to consider his fitness. It is the circuit overseer. Oh, what will happen? What will happen if the circuit overseer who visits this cult member's congregation decides to start actually watching YouTube videos of the viewer brothers that he is going to be examining, that he is going to be shepherding? This sister's name is Miranda. She introduced herself to me some weeks ago. My name is Stuart. I believe that was a Starbucks she was drinking. I'm not sure. There are now 3 cult members here. I wonder who is going to be relieving who now, viewers. I wonder if it's just going to be 2 female cult members or just a male cult member and another female cult member. Can you hear what they're saying? I can't really hear what they're saying, viewers. This cult member has decided that these sisters can be left on their own. I wonder if he's going to go call the police and tell the police that I'm harassing 2 women. I wonder if this cult member is now lingering in the hope that I will start to say or do something that he can then tell the police is harassment of women at the stand. What do you think, viewers? I wonder if there are other cult members lurking. I wonder if there are other cult members lurking because, as you know, in one previous episode, a cult member was indeed, viewers, hiding behind the pillar, hiding behind, yes, even the bushes, viewers, to watch me from Nordstrom's. See, that brother who was hiding behind the pillar, that brother who was hiding behind that bush, apparently was tested as to fitness as to serve as an appointed cult member. See, now these cult members are hoping that me standing here abusing and hate criming 2 women is going to create a picture, a snapshot that they will definitely be able to give their spin on. But as you know, viewers, I'm not even talking to these cult members. I'm talking to you and any Jehovah's Witnesses watching who are displeasing their God Jehovah by watching apostate material. This cult member is still lingering. I think I'm going to do, viewers, I think I'm going to stand here with some magazines and help these cult members draw people to God's kingdom. I do have copies of the current Watchtower in Awake, so I'm now going to stand next to these cult members with these magazines as an exercise of my personal freedom to draw people to God's kingdom. Yeah, this cult member has just said, let's pack it up. We don't need him representing us. Really, they're not really representing other than their sense of superiority over everybody walking by. And they're holding up a cart and some magazines, and I'm doing the same, but that is, notice, a different story. See, me standing here with the magazines is not the same as them standing here like statues with the cart and magazines. Observe, viewers, these cult members lasted, what was it, about 30 minutes today? I wonder what these cult members are going to tell themselves later. See, they stayed to hear me read to you from the Circuit Overseer guidelines. See, that did not prompt the cult members to pack up and leave. But me standing here, just like them, as a statue, to hold the magazines, gets them out of here. Oh, the discussion. Oh, the discussion that will ensue as a result of the cult members' behavior today. I am in the Jehovah suit. I am holding life-giving spiritual, a life-giving spiritual banquet, offering it to these people free of charge. I am prepared to answer questions about this cult honestly. But you see, the cult members don't want you or I answering questions about this cult honestly. They will do that. These cult members will answer questions honestly regarding this cult. You or I, standing here with the magazines as 10, 20, 30, and 40-year veterans of this cult, we can't tell the public about it. They will tell them about it. I wonder if these cult members are leaving right now because they're afraid of somebody actually stopping to ask me questions, and then they will have to watch me talk to that person. Because as you know, I am just standing here alone, but considering that I'm now standing here dressed like them, holding material just like them, if somebody were to stop and ask me questions, you know they would be getting an honest answer from me. You know that somebody who took the time to come and ask me about Jehovah's Witnesses would get an honest answer from me, and that there is no question that they would ask me that I would not answer. These cult members don't want to hear that conversation, so they are now packing up. These cult members do not want to see somebody stop and come up to me and say, "Hi, my sister used to study. My sister used to study, and she says really it's the best way of life." I'm a little, I don't know, I keep hearing some controversies in the news about you guys, but I see you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I see you're holding up the magazines. Listen, is it true that Jeffrey Jackson, one of your leaders, actually talks to Jesus? You know what, viewers? I wouldn't really need to answer that question. This person is coming to their aid. Jehovah has sent a food truck operator to come to the aid of the cult members. Yes. See, I wonder if the interest from that food truck operator was in God's people or in generating perhaps a little more revenue for the business that she is slaving over. She needs to be slaving for the good news, doesn't she, viewers? No. Getting here at 8 in the morning, setting up your truck and cooking in the heat all day, slaving to make a decent wage, slaving to pay your taxes, slaving to pay off any debts you might have, that will not get you into God's kingdom, viewers. This is what will get you into God's kingdom, viewers. Packing up and leaving, not when you had confidential material read in front of you, but when somebody who looks just like you, knows as much about your religion as you, but who's left the religion, stands in front of you to invite people into discussion. That is when they pack up and leave. That is when they pack up and leave. I wonder if these cult members are going to go just across the street, or if they're going to go to Granville. I wonder, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised, viewers, watch these cult members now simply cross the street and go over there. Watch these cult members roll this cart 30 or 40 feet right over there, and then if I go over them to talk to you in front of them, they are definitely going to try to call the police to tell them that I've stalked them today, that I've followed them today. See, reading in front of the cult members material intended strictly for the circuit overseer will not get them to leave. But when they want to try to bait the filthy apostate into following them so that they can call the police, that's when they leave. Observe these cult members, hope that I follow them. And if you think I'm kidding, viewers, you know from previous episodes that these cult members have definitely tried to do that and have successfully done that, but now we are only getting smarter in our form of protesting these cult members. Say it with me now. Bye, J-Dums. Bye, J-Dums. I'm going to stand here for a while with the magazines, viewers, just to let them know that I do what I want, where I want, and I'm no longer in fear of a local body of appointed, tested as to fitness men like that. And I don't imagine you are either. Yes, viewers, I have joined the cult members outside of another public place on Granville and Robson. This is the Best Buy location. I have joined the cult members to engage in the worldwide witnessing work. The other cult member, this is the same pack of cult members from before. They have come here to set up. I have come here to draw people to God's kingdom as well. The diminutive cult member has gone around the corner. You can see him. I don't know if you can see him over there. He is now on the phone to the police. And he is really, 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 really hoping that I walk those few steps and turn the corner to go listen to him so that he can then say, okay, now he's invading my personal space. At the moment, viewers, I am not invading the cult member's personal space. I am standing in a public place offering to have discussions about Jehovah's Witnesses to anyone who cares to stop to ask me about Jehovah's Witnesses. And I look forward to telling the police the exact same thing. So I'm going to stand here with the magazines for as long as it takes to either talk to the police or to see these cult members leave. I'm sorry I wasn't recording, viewers, but this cult member just asked me to please leave them alone and please leave. A public place, viewers. I wonder if I were to ask this cult member to repeat himself, if he would. I wonder if I were to ask that cult member to repeat what he just said, if he would. Please leave us alone and please leave. I'm really sorry I didn't get that on film, viewers, but as you know, I do not need to lie to you about the behavior of the cult members. He just asked me to please leave them alone and please leave. I did not, and he did. I wonder why. I wonder why he left and didn't stay, when all I'm doing is standing here with an invitation to become a subject of God's kingdom, just like them. I wonder why I had to leave and not stay. Because if anybody has any questions about the religion, you know they're not going to get answers about it from the cult members themselves. The cult members will tell them that they're welcome to go to jw.org for their answers. Won't they?